Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rantz. I say another because I know we usually speak these out every few days or every week or so, but quite a lot has gone on in our club the last 24 hours, or even that, just a short space of time. It's Crisandro, of course, and I'm here with my good man Shubes. How you doing, mate?
When
How's your
I
time?
saw when I saw him holding the shirt, I felt like saying, "Put that down. That doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve to lift up that shirt. You don't deserve to be touching those colours." Not because he's ex-Chelsea or whatever like that. Because it's it's as if we've gone from I don't know having Wurzel Gummidge as our neighbour to I don't know fucking Scarecrow from Batman. Do you know what I mean? And
So,
for those people who aren't from from England and
mm,
weren't born at a certain time and have no idea what Gummidge even is, but do know this: Aunt Sally was hot then, and she was hot. She's hot now as well. And she's still.
that's that is something. Yeah, that's an image right there. But yeah, no, that's taken. I mean, the speed of it all, I think, is what's kind of like caught us most of us by surprise, really. And it has it is quite a lot to take in a short space of time. And I'm not quite sure if I've got my head around it fully yet. It's still kind of still kind of like a big whirlwind still, if you know what I mean.
Well, the thing is, apparently he was dismissed on Tuesday. His son's also probably been fired because he was a sports
Mm,
scientist there, and which I think you can claim unfair dismissal because obviously the fact that his dad gets fired and he gets fired as well, they probably
mm,
paid him. But he wasn't even allowed to say goodbye to his players because a lot of his players probably wouldn't have returned by then. They probably would only return today.
potentially, yeah, yeah, that's true.
So, which is, I think, I mean, we spoke about it yesterday and has, kind of been spoken, but obviously people may probably do know this. I think obviously Chris knows this. They talked about the best Premier League sides over the last, I don't know, 20 odd years, last 25 years of the Premiership.
Mm,
And really the consensus was it was either the Invincibles or the treble-winning, Man United side. But
mm,
I always say, you know what, one side that never gets enough credit, and is for me the Mourinho side,
mm,
because Mourinho, this was a team of basically that took on the Invincibles and beat them,
mm,
and was basically able to do that. And not only that, he changed the way football was in this country. He went from being, essentially a 4-4-2 country to playing 4-3-3. And a lot of that is down to Mourinho showing how to make it work.
mm.
So as much as it pains me, honestly, I can't even, I mean, my friend's coming over and I don't really want to do anything with Tottenham, but he, in a strange way, I can actually see some of the players he's coveted over the years,
Mm.
albeit for other clubs, or one club in particular, Man United. He's
Mhm.
finally got. He's finally got Kane. He's finally got Alderweireld. He's finally got Eric Dyer.
Mm.
I'm sure many teams would have loved to have had Dele Alli over the years.
Yeah, very true.
And I've just got and someone like Holman's son, who has been incredible, especially this season.
Mm.
If you look at the players he's worked with in the past, Drogba was a very good player for Marseille. Under
Yeah.
Mourinho, he became an absolute superstar.
Hmm.
Similarly, Lampard, a good player, but generally, and I think he was in that England team of 2004. It
Mm.
was flirting around it, but it was after 2004 he became serious competition for Steven Gerrard,
Yeah.
and that a lot of that credit has to go down to Mourinho.
Hmm.
I think he was able to go that bit further, but it's still. kind of, but have no doubts that Mourinho was a huge part of that. You've got people like Eden Hazard, who I think Mourinho had him. Obviously, he was at Chelsea for a year before Mourinho joined, but it was under Mourinho he became, that obviously he showed those glimpses of that world class talent, albeit once every other season.
Yeah,
and
pretty much, yeah.
And I think if you look at the players that we have, these are players that I think they call it the marginal gains. I think the unfortunate thing is at a club, manager board. Ultimately, they should accept they share in the success, but failure is always an orphan, and failure is always going to go to the person easiest to replace, and that's always the manager. The chairman's never going to say himself unless he's Niall Quinn, and the players are never going to say, by the way, we effed up, And I don't know if surprisingly, I've not actually seen Christian Eriksen's response. I don't know what he would have said, actually. I'll be interested to see what Christian Eriksen has said about Poch.
I think we all are, really, yeah. I think we all are because only a few players have kind of come out and said their piece on Poch leaving or basically looking forward to the next challenge. I know Adderweireld's commented about looking forward to the next challenge.
Has actually stayed quite silent, actually, interestingly enough.
Yes, and that was who knows? That's I think that probably speaks volumes in a way. The silence is deafening, really.
But then, so is Lamella, but then I'm just looking at Twitter rather than Instagram. More players sent to Instagram than. But my point being, you've got like guys like Ryan Mason. He's probably going to get fired right now.
No, he won't be. He'll still have a role in the club, in the youth team, I guess.
Yeah, I think basically, but I think if you're Eric Lamella, he's going to be the kind of player that's going to be I've always said that Poch needed to kill his. I thought would Poch have the courage to kill his Bambis? That would be Lamella, that would be Wanyama. Well, do you know what? I honestly think that Mourinho will have no problem killing both them. Killing those Bambis with his bare hands, skinning them, and then eating them raw.
I think he do Lamella a bit of a disservice there, but Wanyama possibly, because he's been out and since he's come back in, he's almost as if he's still on the treatment table. But Lamella's been quite key when he's played this season. Probably been one of the very few players who've been putting in the shifts this season, despite what's been going on.
Yeah, I think the problem with Lamella is you can't rely on his fitness.
Yeah, I guess.
We've never been able to rely on Lamella to stay fit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's just one injury away from that. From a long spell out, isn't he? So, yeah.
I think that's always going to be a problem, and and it's interesting because like Eric Dyer. I mean, apparently he tried to tap up Eric Dyer back in 2017. Apparently, I think he can get. One of the things we don't have is we don't have any nasty people in our team, and I really think if he can get Eric Dyer to be nasty again, if he can get Dele Alli to be nasty again, and just find that bit of the edge where, do you know what? He'll probably get Dele Alli, God knows how many yellow cards, and maybe even sent up a couple of times. Same with Eric Dyer.
But he needs to stay fit in order to be sent off, doesn't he? So that's one of the issues.
But it's just I don't know. I just think he's we've seen what he can do with some really good players. I mean, John Terry was a good defender in 2002. I don't think he was picked. I can't remember. I think there was that big incident or something after. That's the reason why John Terry and Lampard weren't picked for 2000 for quite a number of years under Ericsson. They certainly weren't picked for that World Cup. I remember that. Them not being picked for that World Cup, 2002. And essentially,
when was the Wayne Bridge incident?
The Wayne Bridge incident was 2010.
Oh, that's right then.
Yeah, because you remember, because Carlos Tevez decided, of all reasons, to get into a fight with John Terry. And I don't think
yeah.
I don't even know why he even did that because Carlos Tevez apparently never spoke any English anyway, that much English. So why on earth he'd look to back up his good old bestie Wayne Bridge? I had no idea. No, I can't imagine those two having being best of buddies. You know what I mean? But clearly, maybe
You
he
know,
just wanted to have a go at John Terry or something. I don't know.
I think everybody has at one point or another. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Craig Bellamy definitely goes. I know what JT's like. Do you know what I mean?
True.
But I don't know. I just think that I don't know. It is weird. It's like I'm not going to call Pochettino an angel and Mourinho the devil, but it's just I don't know. There's it clearly. Sometimes I'm not saying obviously Pochettino was very warm, embracing. He's all hugs and everything else kind of thing,
Mm.
And I don't think Mourinho's going to be that, But I definitely do think that there's going to be. I don't know, for want of a better word. I mean, he's the kind of. I mean, do you know what? Just like he may be a bastard, but he's our bastard. Do you know what I mean?
That's
And
comforting.
I've always thought Mourinho was the kind of person that, yeah, he may be a bastard, but you know what? If he gets you the points and he gets you the wins, he's our
Mm.
bastard. I mean, I don't like the idea. I mean, to be totally honest, I've never been the one. Look, silverware's nice,
Mm.
but I've never been attracted to those material things. You know what I mean? It was more the feeling of the club
Mm.
and the sense of pride we had in the club.
Mm.
For whatever you say, every year he gave us something to be proud of in the club. AVB never did. I can't really say Harry Redknapp, apart from maybe a year or so. That the year we got in the Champions League and obviously beating into Milan.
Mm.
But that kind of the year 2010, yeah. What we did was incredible, but 2011 we never sustained it clearly, and
Mm.
obviously 2012, what did that happen there?
Mm.
Um, like I said, I always thought we're always gonna find it difficult, and I think what Pochettino did, he gave us that sense of community at that club. He
Mm.
made it feel like we all were a part of that club. We had a
Yeah.
sense of belonging, a sense of community. I mean, it was a horrible place. I mean, do you remember the Ealing Out signs? And there will be Ealing Out signs. Maybe not this, this Saturday, obviously, but definitely next Tuesday. There's going to
Mm.
be a lot of, and I wouldn't be surprised if people start singing, Mauricio Pochettino's name because there were a lot of people that you could see yesterday on Twitter that there's I don't know, maybe that are the Poch inners. I don't know, they're more representative of social media, but the Poch people that are angry and really upset by this, there's a
Mm.
real sense of upset by this,
Yeah.
much more than elation. The fact that we've got, if someone said to me 10 years ago, we're going to get Jose Mourinho, I thought, yeah, I'll take that. I mean, he was a brilliant manager, and I still
Mm.
think he's a brilliant manager. I don't think people say he's lost his edge, but if you look at say someone like best example I can give is say Ibrahimovic. He's played
Mm.
under both Guardiola and Mourinho,
Mm.
and obviously, the guy is kind of bonkers, you know,
Kind of. Yeah.
because although
Yes,
I must,
euphemism.
I don't know, whenever I saw his interviews, he seemed he would say it about like tongue in cheek or something. He was
Yeah.
actually quite funny, actually. Whenever I saw his interviews on English TV, he was always quite funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe
He
he just
is.
translate well or something. You got to hear him say it rather than you see it in
Read it.
print.
Yeah.
If
True.
you hear it in print, you think, "Oh my god, what a prick!" But if you when you hear it, it's like, ah, he's got that glint in his eye, that kind of stuff. You got to
Mm.
see it. To see it, you got to see it, see that glint in his eye, see it here. But he said, "Look, I didn't like training Guardiola. I didn't like the way Guardiola trained me.
Mm.
And he really enjoyed the way that clearly, what you call
Mourinho.
it, Mourinho coached him. So he went
Mm.
back again, And and it took a big risk because he was 36 or 35 or 36 when
36.
he
Yeah.
when he came to England and showed, albeit for 1 year, what
Mm.
he could do.
Yeah.
So I definitely do think that he has got the potential to really do something. Whether that's sustainable or not, I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, but I don't think, and he did get rid of Wayne Rooney. He realised quite quickly that Wayne Rooney wasn't the player he was even 2 years ago.
Mm.
And well, I think we need to move this guy on. And there will be players that will be cut. Maybe because Pochettino was just too close.
Mm.
Couldn't get rid of these guys. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think that's the nature of business. You have to be ruthless. I mean, I remember seeing Mickey Hazard, and I said like, I think this is after Ryan Mason went to Hull. Obviously, that obviously changed his life, obviously. But I
Mm.
asked, how do you feel about that? And he said this with no instantaneously. He goes, that. He goes, well, he said that's football, lad,
Mm.
and that was it. And I thought, oh, that's quite nice. He thinks I'm a lad. He thinks I'm quite young. But
Of course, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I
but
hear what you're saying. Yeah.
but it was just the fact that it was like, yeah, he said that's football.
Mm.
The fact that he said that and the way he said it, you kind of got the feeling that, do you know what? Um, it just, yeah, that is, the
Mm.
club, the club is bigger than any one man, and that is the way it is. And if we win on Saturday, I'll be very happy, and I'll be it's a step in the right direction.
Mm.
The fact that it's Jose, I think it will always be difficult, but who knows? Hopefully he'll surprise me, but I guess we'll find out. But I do think that Jose is a good coach, and I think obviously because I know Poch was playing about a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, and he was really struggling to make it work. And in a strange way, do you know when we bought, like, say, Modric and we bought Bale the year before, and
Mm.
obviously, obviously, whatchamacallit, what's his name? Yon never got a chance to really use him because he wasn't there that long. He was fired soon after.
Yeah.
Just never used them, you know.
Mm.
And obviously we bought Modric that year as well. And
Mm.
then what was it? A year later that Bale and Modric were able to combine, and then we had that incredible season, where we were able
Mm.
to work in the Champions League. People forget. I think didn't Modric break his leg that year, or some scrote broke his leg or something. I remember that. I can't remember who it was, but
Yeah, I remember the injury. Yeah, I can't remember who caused it though.
I want to say Ben Thatcher, but I'm sure I'll get sued for it. So I'm not going to say Ben Thatcher. I thought he's wrong. Lee
That's,
Bowyer?
it does sound right. No, I don't think it's Bo. Yeah.
But yeah, there was someone that broke his leg, and then
Mm.
I don't know. It wasn't like normally it wasn't like a massive break that was out for a whole year or something.
Just enough though.
They just not. He was out for a fair bit.
Yeah.
We ended up bringing in Nico Cranchaw. So I don't know. I've got a funny thing. I think Mourinho, and I thought that he thinks that we're not going to be making any signings in the Premier. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, at Porto, he didn't make many big signings. You know,
They
he
brought some through.
yeah he did make them at Inter.
Mm.
That I don't dispute. He did make them at Inter, and and the other thing was he actually managed to get a tune out of Mesut Ozil. So who knows? Maybe he can get a tune out of Ericsson.
I, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if he did manage to get better Ozil to play. I mean, Real Madrid were also happy to sell him, weren't they? Even then, so who
They
knows?
had to sell him. I think they kind of had to sell him because obviously they bought Bale. And what really annoyed the crap out of me is that basically they bought Bale and they literally Arsenal helped strengthen us weakening by
Mm.
paying for Bale basically. They paid the money for Bale. They bought in Ozil and I think who else? I can't remember who else they bought. I think they paid for half, and I think was it? I can't remember who else left that year or something. But yeah,
Mm.
it was just I don't know. But like I said, I am hoping that I'm hoping to be I mean I don't know the fact that his contract runs out in 2023. I'll tell you one thing: they're not going to extend his contract
Of course not. You're
because
the,
honestly I don't see him lasting beyond 3 years. And in fact,
Well,
if I can go to William, I wish I could go to Ladbrokes right now and say, can I please, not those telephone bets, like create a bet.
mm,
Also, I'd like to create a bet that within 3 years, he won't stay out his contract. He'll be fired before he sees out his contract.
mm.
You know?
More than likely, I think that's been his track records since he left Porto, really. And I think there's been very few clubs where he's well, Inter Milan he left on his own accord, didn't he?
Well, I
But
think I think to I'll give him credit as much of the guy who likes the limelight as much as possible. I mean, to
mm,
win 2 Champions Leagues is amazing. That is very few. I don't think many coaches in history have ever done that. I think he's one of the first coaches to have done that, especially in the
mm,
modern era with two different clubs. So I definitely think he is. Although, like I think Ancelotti's won it twice
yeah,
as 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 uh, as a manager, but to win it with two different clubs, it's generally unheard of.
yeah,
And
yes.
so I think it would be interesting to see what happens next. But I don't know. It is what it is. We are where we are. Just the idea of him being our manager, it's I don't know. It's
It
kind
will
of
be, yeah, it will be a lot of people to get used to. I mean, I'm just kind of reading through some aspects of social media here, and Alderweireld expressing his surprise at the sacking of Pochettino. I imagine that a few of the players who've been wanting away will be coming out of the woodwork saying that they're very, very surprised he's been sacked or whatever. But
really,
that's
even
biting.
though even though he's the reason they got sacked in the first place.
Oh yeah, he's still going to be very shocked and surprised that he's been sacked. You know, he didn't think that his actions in getting a manager sacked would actually lead to a manager being sacked. You know, who'd have thought? But, but yeah, I suppose at the same time, if I
It's
suppose
telling though. Sonny, if you notice it, Sonny, Kane, or surprisingly Winks. I mean, do you remember? I mean, do you know what? Someone said to me that moment when Harry Winks, whatchamacallit, went to hug him after winning, after
winning
scoring his
against West
debut
Ham,
goal,
yeah,
and he said, "Look, you know, you gave him an opportunity, and you helped me achieve his dream. They're all wishing him the very best for the future. So it's interesting. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Harry Winks. I mean, Eric Dyer stayed very, very quiet. But if it
mm,
wasn't if it wasn't for Pochettino, there's no way Eric Dyer gets into that team.
yeah.
And I don't know, Alderweireld. I don't know what his Instagram has said, but
But yeah, no, I imagine that over the coming days, unless they've been advised to shut up, I guess a few of the players will show their surprise and stuff like that, or show their solidarity or wish Pochettino the best. I do kind of feel that yeah, the way it was all kind of went down, it is kind of sad, really. But I mean,
I think
he didn't get a chance to say goodbye, did he? So
he wasn't. But you know what? It's the thing. There is. Do you know what? It is a business, and do you know what? In all honesty, there is no room for sentiment in business.
it all depends on the way it happens. I mean, from what I understand, he was given the chance to resign, and he said no. And so
But
maybe
why
sacked him.
would you resign when you basically said no twice to
Mm,
Man United around Madrid? And if you
yeah.
resign, you know what I'm saying? He said,
Mm,
look, either fall on your sword or be sacked. And
mm,
this way, he basically, if he had resigned, it would be different. But he's not a
yeah.
quitter.
Mm, yeah. Exactly. So that's just the possible position he was put in. Whether there's any truth behind the story that he was angry at the documentary being done or a few other things, I have no idea. But the way they were talking, the way it sounds, I mean, obviously we know that was dealt with long before the events yesterday. Mourinho's already in place, really, in a couple of weeks beforehand, and it's just unfortunate the way it's kind of ended. And I just want to say I want to put on record really for Pochettino. Thank you so much for getting me to believe in this team again and get me to actually expect to win as opposed to hoping we'd win. I know there's a few people on, especially on the group, in the group that seem to be almost dancing on his grave in a way, which I've become distancing myself from. But I fully respect everything that he did in those 5 years. Yes, it went sour, mitigating circumstances and whatnot, but shouldn't just forget how far we've come under him. And he's left us in a very good position. I know we're 14th in the table now, haven't won away since January in the league, only won 3 games all season in the league. But he's left us in a good position with a youth team, and left with a very good team still, albeit 4 or 5 of them are desperate to leave and are feigning sadness. But there's plenty there for Mourinho to work with, and if Mourinho, I should say, I mean, I've berated somebody else for getting his name wrong. If Mourinho actually, sets about the team as I expected to, and that's literally sorting the defence out first and then working on the attack, I'm sure that we will recover. I'm sure that we'll probably, do well in the remaining games. We will qualify out the group from the Champions League, and who knows? I wouldn't actually mind a trip to Wembley this season. I think that's probably back on the cards now with the FA Cup, and who knows? But the one thing that we can be sure of is that we will, at the very least, win 1 trophy. That I'm sure of, and who knows under Pochettino if he was given the backing of Levy, as I expected.
The last 2 managers to win a trophy.
George
Graham and one day Ramos.
I
was too disheartened when they got sacked.
Well, they kind of, after winning the trophies, they kind of went a bit sour in the second season, didn't they? Ramos famously so with the 2 points from 8 games. But then again, after he won the League Cup, the league form suffered badly as well, didn't it? So I don't know. I think
we went to absolute turd. Do you know what I mean? It was so bad.
And then they just carried on the following season, so he had to kind of go really because obviously he lost the team. And I get the feeling, although obviously different personnel, I don't think there's anyone that survives from that period that plays with this team now. But that's was kind of how it felt. I know we didn't win the Champions League, but it just kind of felt that period there, going into the Champions League final, the league form suffered a lot, and no one could really put a finger on why. And they just carried on. This season.
We lost our legs.
It's got to be more than that, though. It's got to be more.
I think so. No, we were 5 points off Man City on February 1st.
Yeah.
We were 5 points off Man City. How did it go to crap? Especially when we got into the new stadium, but that didn't help. Changing a new stadium and everything else, but it's going back to even though that's our home, we still have to readjust. But not only that, basically, you have to get players into the squad, at least even 1 or 2 players every year, and get rid of 1 or 2 players every season, just to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up being stale. That is something you absolutely need to do. And we didn't, and I love the fact he said, look, yes, you did it in spite of the move, but I remember that point he didn't say, by the way, without us signing any players in 2018, you helped us to reach the Champions League final. I'm surprised they never mentioned that bit.
Give it time.
The board will never ever admit when they shit the bed.
Yeah,
that's fine.
True.
I don't expect you to do that. But at the same time, don't be surprised if people if there's anger towards the board, I'm not going to be too surprised by it.
I suppose it all depends on what we do this season now. I mean, now that they've acted, now they've removed Pochettino and they've brought in Mourinho, and I guess it all depends on how we kind of finish the rest of the season. I mean, we're a third of the way in, and at the moment we're doing badly in the league. We're already out of 1 cup, but we're progressing in another. It's I guess we'll see where we are at Christmas. I know that fans already feeling the full force of it. I mean, the last 2 or 3 home games the team have been booed off. It's kind of it's not toxic. Let's go to that stage yet, but there's a lot of frustration out there.
Oh, it's gonna.
So yeah, it all kind of depends now on what we do in the next few games. If Pochettino, yes, if Mourinho stamps his authority and gets the team, I'll just say winning because performing, who knows? We might have to sacrifice performances for the first few games in order to get that winning feeling back. If we start winning, then the mood might change, and then it might change again depending on how we win. So it's a quite a volatile situation that we have right now. But it's all a case of stabilising the team, and then the fans see that stabilisation on the pitch. It might lessen the mood somewhat, but who knows?
Yeah, you know what? I just can't. For me, I just can't. I mean, I'm still devastated by it. I think yesterday, obviously, people have heard how devastated I was. Still take time to sink in, and it will always will do. But you know what? Life has to move on. We have to move on. These decisions are made by people much more powerful than us. You know, we are nothing but whims to the whims to their mercy. Right. I said, I guess we'll see what happens on Saturday. Really, when Saturday comes.
Yeah, wish I was going to the game now because it will be interesting to see how it all unfolds. I would like to see how Mourinho will set up our team firsthand and on the pitch as opposed to watching it on TV. But circumstances being the way they are, I'm not able to go. But that will be, I think, I think most Spurs fans now will be tuning into that game just to see what it's like, just to see how the crowd will react to Mourinho, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Then it's Tuesday, which unfortunately I won't be able to go to either. That'll be his first home game, wouldn't it, in the Champions League? But be there for the league match. I'm sure he'll get a proper introduction there as well, but we shall see. But it's a very interesting times at Spurs. I mean, I guess on the face of it, we got ourselves a proven winner. We got ourselves someone who knows how to win the Champions League. We got ourselves someone who knows how to win the domestic trophy. We got someone who knows how to win the league as well. But we've also got someone who we know will just get short-term success at the expense of long-term stability at the club. But I guess everything is already in place, so nothing will go too far south if and when he does leave. But in the immediate, I suppose right now we've got a man who knows how to take a team and mould it into proper trophy winners. And I guess having seen that we've lost our record of winning a trophy in every decade since the 50s, that's gone now. So, but we now have someone in there who will actually kickstart our trophy winning habits again.
Well, do you know what? For me, do you know what? All I know is this: he is in charge. I support the club, but can I really sing his name?
Jose
I don't remember.
Jose Mourinho. Try practicing it.
Jose Mourinho, hijo de puta. I actually had to ask people what that actually meant. I said,
really? No.
I didn't actually know at the time. This was back into incredibly, though I was learning Brazilian Portuguese, I didn't actually know much Spanish at the time. Still don't know much Spanish now. So I had to ask someone saying, wait, are the Atletico Madrid fans saying Jose Mourinho, son of a bitch? And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. Like, okay. But yeah, look, he's got his name emblazoned on his training gear, just in case people don't know who he is. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, what was it? 10 years? Is it 12 years later? Daniel Levy's finally got someone he wanted.
Yeah,
so,
but
maybe we'll end up signing Damiao after all.
Yeah, just on the verge of retiring. But well, he's got him. Will he back him? Because I don't think Mourinho will come in and say, yeah, I can work with what I've got here. He'll want 300
Do you know
million
what?
to start off with.
Do you know what? I'm gonna go this, but do you know what? I
Mm,
think I think personally, Bayern Munich didn't want him, and it was either Real Madrid. Obviously, they hadn't yet sat Zidane, kind of
mm,
thing. Barcelona would definitely don't want him. They despise him.
hmm
The only clubs available to him that he would have gone to would be PSG, who he obviously I think he does speak some French. I think he does speak French.
He does speak French, yeah.
But I think you have and I think the other thing is I think one of the things that really caused his downfall at United, and the reason I think he was such a miserable old cuss at United is that he was living out of a hotel because his
Yeah,
family was still in London.
yeah, that's
His
true.
family no, we are not moving to Manchester.
Who would?
So I think, and so
Sorry, Manchester's a lovely city. I don't want to get it twisted. I do love that place. But yeah,
no,
carry
no,
on.
I'm in Manchester. I mean, I have loads
Yeah.
of mates up that way, but I've mates up that way but then they didn't want to move to Manchester, you
Mm,
know, and that's what it was.
yeah.
So anyhow, I said let's see what Saturday brings.
hmm When Saturday comes. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one, and all of those lucky Spurs fans there will get to see Mourinho's team firsthand straight away. They're the lucky ones. They'll be able to let us know how it all turns out. But here's hoping for well, like I said, not so much a performance, just let's stop the rots and let's get some confidence back in the side at the very
And
least.
no matter what happens, you'll definitely be around in the Tottenham supplement.
Mm-hmm.
And
Close.
and hopefully you'll be seeing Chris tweeting at Crisandro Crandero underscore
Mm-hmm.
man Chris, and you might be able to find me at the Real Shub on Twitter.
Yep. There we go. So let us know what you think. Is it a good signing? Are you enthused by it? What are you expecting from the signing? Also, on the group, there is a poll that's gone up regarding how you think our first third of the season has gone. Rate it from 1 to 5. Let us know. Just go onto the group on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Tottenham Supplement DSCSSN. And yeah, let us know your thoughts.
Come on, you Spurs.
And come on, you Spurs. You'll take care. Catch you again soon.